What's up, guys? James Nguyen here with the Alpha Red Comic Channel. I am the creator of Alpha Red, and I am glad you are here with me on a Thursday, a random Thursday. I thought I'd do something different. I'm trying all kinds of new things, so I want to be able to connect with you. The purpose of this channel is to really help independent creators to create good comics for people who are looking for an alternative to the mainstream. And there's different ways that we look at stuff, and I wanted to give you a peek into the brain of an independent creator by looking at other comics and taking a look, breaking them down, and seeing if we can't unpack what makes them good and what makes them bad. And if you see the title of the live stream, we are, let me see. Yeah, we are talking about Absolute Batman #1, which came out last Wednesday. So hopefully you got your copy. My comic shop sold out. I went to another comic shop. I did get mine from my comic shop, but I went to a different comic book shop to pick up something else, and I found that they had like stacks and stacks. So they're out there, guys. They're out there. But we are going to go through it, and just to show you, yep, we are raring to go on this Batman. But we're going to be talking about how it compares to some of the other stuff. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I hope that I will bring something useful for you to watch and learn about what it takes to make a good comic book. And so hopefully we can take lessons from Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. So Nick Dragotta is new to me, and so we are going to break that down. I did enjoy Absolute Batman #1, so we'll get that out of the way. No real hang-ups for me. I'm not a huge Batman fan. I am a fan of Scott Snyder, so I assumed that I was going to like Absolute Batman. And Nick Dragotta's artwork was what initially drew me to get excited about the project. I knew that I would probably be curious to see what Scott Snyder was going to do with Absolute Batman, but because of Nick Dragotta's art, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait and see what people say about it. I'm just going to plan on picking it up on the day of, the week of, and there are not many comics that I get excited about and have to read right when I bring it home. But Absolute Batman #1 was one of those comics, and I was happy to do that. I was happy to come home, read through it. I wanted to share it with my son. So what I do is I do go through it with a Sharpie and censor things that I don't think are appropriate for him. Luckily, not too many things. I mean, there's a lot of extreme violence and stuff. One almost naked lady that I had to Sharpie out in 2 places, I think, but really just some extreme gore that I don't care for my son to see. So blackened those out, and I couldn't wait to share it with him. So, but without further ado, let's get into Batman, Absolute Batman. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down Nick Dragotta's art. And I don't know if, I'm transporting this from where it was so that it sits right in front of me. So there are things that I like about Nick Dragotta's art and things that not that I don't like, but it's not my preference. And I think a lot of that, hang on a second. This comes up at an angle for me. So let's hit this button so you can know that I am the guy behind the mic. So this is the comic. Let's get this out of the way. Bamski. And I am going to flip through it, guys. So if you have not seen it, if you have not bought it, and you do not see this, and you don't want it spoiled, then this is probably not the live stream for you. Okay, so I am gonna go over the differences because I do have some of my some comparisons. so I don't want to give it away because I'm pretty excited, because it got me excited about other Batman comics that I was looking forward to. So what really stood out to me was that Nick Dragotta's artwork looks indie, and I want to break down for you what the difference between what I think indie comics look like and what I'm used to when I think of superhero comics. So we're gonna go so I do want to compare it to one of my greats, one of my favorites, right? Jim Lee on Batman in 2000. What does it say here? 2002. I mean, I couldn't wait for every issue of this. So I'm going to be comparing that to the Absolute Batman #1, and then I'm also going to compare it to Scott Snyder's Batman #1 with Greg Capullo in 2011. But then I also found that in 2021 they had another Batman DC did called I Am Batman, and it's Lucius Fox's son Jace Fox becomes Batman, and I picked it up solely for the art. So we'll go through and compare the art to the Absolute Batman. So hopefully we can get something interesting out of here. So right away, what I noticed was that it was a little bit more cartoony than my taste in superhero comics, but I'm kind of used to this indie look because for almost a year now, I've been into this. I've been into Transformers, and I don't know if you guys are into Transformers or not, but you are missing out. I did just pick up Transformers number 13, so it's been out for like a year and a month. They switched artists again, so this will be the third artist, same writer, but the third artist. And I gotta tell you, it was a little bit of a letdown. I don't know who the artist is, but compared to Daniel Warren Johnson, and I think it's Jorge Corona is the guy who picked up after him on issue number 6. But I'm used to this indie look, and I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, especially with my Transformers, just because of the line weights are a little bit more organic looking, whereas I'm used to a more slick look. When I bring over the other comics, you'll see that you'll see what I mean as far as how things are rendered. It's just a little bit messier. I don't want to make it sound like it's negative, because it works in the context of everything, and it doesn't bother me at all. But the style of indie comics is more like this. It's more raw. It's less polished. It's more organic. So it took me maybe one issue to get used to Daniel Warren Johnson's indie style, and so I mean, he's got like the facial expressions. Oops, like you can see that, right? The facial expressions are very expressive. That's what you get when you get a lot of this indie stuff. So you don't see as much of that in the superhero comics. So one of the main things that I liked about discovering Daniel Warren Johnson and this indie style that Nick Dragotta also has is the way that they storytell, and they use more of a manga taste, which is what I'm told, because I don't know for sure, because I don't read manga. But the amount of panels that they use are a lot. You know, it used to be like six panels are a lot, but because of Transformers and Daniel Warren Johnson, I got used to that indie style, so I don't mind it. So it's a little bit more cartoony, and there's a lot more panels used in the storytelling. And as I say that, I open up to a double page spread, which almost never happens. Like, it's more like this. You'll see this is page 2, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 panels on one page. That's just it's so much. It's so much for a guy like me. I mean, this is kind of typical. And then you get to this first page where Alfred is driving through Gotham, reacquainting himself with Gotham. And there's 9 panels on this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels on the next page. Just a lot. So there's things. What I do like about the artwork is that it's well drawn. You know, the anatomy is well drawn. The perspectives are really exciting, and you know, you can see here that's an exciting panel. The perspective here as he's going out of the tunnel, like it seems like he's coming up out of the tunnel. This looks like New York City, but obviously Gotham. But really cool dynamic angles. So all good. And the anatomy is good. Like I said, the faces are a little cartoony, but what really is the difference for me when I look at artwork that I like, what I think I like or what I'm used to in superhero comics are more what Jim Lee does. So let's compare it to Mr. Jim Lee from 2002. And we can get a feel for the difference of storytelling from 2002 till now, right? So in 2002, things were a little bit more cinematic is the best way I can describe it. So like there were a lot of just vertical panels, like all the way through. It would be like a letterbox version of a movie, just kind of long panels like this, and you kind of squeeze it in. And you use whatever perspective you need to tell your story in however many of these long boxes as you can. And then every now and again you throw in, well, this is another more cinematic, double page spread, even though there's 4 panels here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you throw in just as big a panels as you can, and just make it like a blockbuster, you know, like larger than life kind of imagery. And this is what this is how Jim Lee does it. And I used to go wild over this stuff, and I still enjoy it very much. So I'm curious to see what his stuff looks like on a regular basis in his upcoming Batman run. They said it's coming out in April or May. He's trying to get a couple under his belt before they start off. But the difference, a lot of the difference you'll see right away is the rendering. So when you're drawing art, right, you're drawing a 3-dimensional thing and you're trying to translate it into a 2-dimensional thing. There's a lot of visual cues that you need to include in here. And so he puts in the hard, the contrast line. If you know anything about artwork, there's a contrast line, there's a reflection, there's a light source coming over here. You can see from this is probably like a flashlight or whatever, and that gives him the light. And then, but you have the reflective light on the other side of the finger. Whereas Nick Dragotta's artwork is very open. Everywhere you look, there's not much rendering, and he leans a lot on the colors, and the colorist is fabulous on this. But the colorist does do a lot of the heavy lifting. Whereas, see, there's not that much rendering. You can see in his face. I know it's lots of glare, but like there's a light source. It's just very bright, and then it's like the detail. There's just never a lot of detail. Look in the mustache. I love drawing mustaches because you can put so much hair, and I have fun drawing mustaches. If you've ever seen me draw any characters that have mustaches, I just kind of go crazy with the mustache. It looks like, though, if I were to look at the black and white, just the black and white images of it, just a couple of specks here, and then, you know, the heavy shadow, the contrast of the shadow. So that is the breakdown of that, and it has its ups and downs. Obviously, it's very compelling. It's dramatic lighting, so it all works. But I think my preference, because I'm used to Jim Lee, because Jim Lee's one of my artistic heroes, you know, there's a lot more, even though it's open here, but he doesn't lean too much on the colorist, because look at all these lines, all these little rendering lines. I don't know if you can see them from there, but like all the rendering lines, just all that kind of gives you form and texture, where you don't get as much of that here. But what you do get with Nick Dragotta's artwork are these speed lines that I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my artwork. So this is all new to me. I mean, obviously it just came out last week. I've seen the speed lines like right here, where it's all through the muscle, all through the arm even. It's just like this wavy, vibrating line or whatever. But it creates like speed and just action, and I really enjoy that. But you do miss out on all the rendering, and just all that rendering also gives you motion. I don't know if Jim Lee will start incorporating more of that manga influence into his artwork, so I'm curious to see that, if he'll put in those speed lines everywhere, because it's just the way everything is going, is being more manga influenced. So you just see like in the muscle here where it is, let's see if it focuses there. Well, there's this rendering right there where there's a light source and then really contrast from the bottom. The shadows come from the bottom, but there's still some rendering. So it's the transition between bright light and complete shadow, whereas Nick Dragotta's artwork has a lot less of that. But also, if you see here how many panels he uses, and this is also a manga thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 if you count the Blam as a panel, but 14 images, 14 panels to tell the story. Obviously, it does a thing, right? It is a thing. So, but here it is. Just if you guys haven't picked it up, super good stuff. Here's where I censored some of the stuff so that I could share it with my son. But yeah, so I like the vibes that Nick Dragotta has. Like I said, this is a breakdown of the artwork. The story is great. No complaints about the story. I even like how they limited. There's cursing, but they didn't go too crazy with the cursing, and they blurbed it out so that it saves me from blurbering it out with a Sharpie. So just like how dramatic this is, this gives me like Christopher Nolan vibes right here. And then in here, this gives me Dark Knight Return vibes with Frank Miller. So a lot of really cool setting up of the story, and just the amount of panels was the biggest surprise to me with Nick Dragotta's art. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on this. So that's 20 panels in 2 pages. So does it justify it? I don't know. It's a different style for sure. And if you're just joining me, it's something that I do like. I like the artwork. I don't know that I would follow Nick Dragotta around. I like his storytelling, so maybe after 2 or 3 issues, he'll grow on me, and wherever he goes, I might want to go. But obviously, this is the first appearance of the Batman, the absolute Batman, and he's big and he's bold there. So I just like the storytelling. The storytelling really worked in this. It was exciting. It built up, and then boom. I wish this was a page turn. I wish this happened over here, and then you turn the page and the reveal was over here. But it doesn't always hit like that. So, and it was no big deal, because it's not too distracting, because you are into the story. You want to know what happens, and it's a good payoff. No huge complaints. If I had to complain, this would have been a better reveal over here, as I'm breaking down the artwork for comic books and what works better in comics. That is something I think about as I'm laying out my pages. Like big reveals are on even numbered pages, so that people want to flip that odd number page to get to your even numbered page to get that big reveal. So, like I said, the speed lines are something that I'm really enjoying. That's not something that I'm used to in my superhero artwork that I typically prefer. But more and more, I see artists, even in the mainstream, on the mainstream titles, using a more indie style, and that indie style has a lot of the speed stuff and the amount of panels. Look at this, the amount of panels on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 panels on one page. Yikes. So, but it does such a good job of kind of cinematically revealing parts of Batman's suit. Like it's weaponized. Like every part of his suit it can be used as a weapon. So his ears come out, become knives, and so yep. And then his chest. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but becomes a big battle axe. You know, the chest the chest plate that everybody was losing their minds over, the big rectangle on his chest, actually becomes a battle axe. And this was just a really good scene. Like this whole scene where as soon as Batman shows up, just really exciting stuff. The storytelling is fantastic. And, you know, like the silhouettes are good. You know, the only complaint, like I said, is the rendering is so different than what I'm used to for superhero art. So superhero art, like I said, just has a lot more hatch work. And but this is like an exciting. I can see this as a cartoon right here. I can see it as an anime scene where he just kind of, I don't know if he's stomping down or whatever, but the spikes come out extra long because he's screaming. See over here, the spikes are almost non-existent, but they are on his suit, just as little bumps. But like he hulks out and like these giant spikes come out, and then he blows them up. I don't know if they die or not, but just really cool stuff. But like I said, it's just a lot different than what I'm used to as far as superhero art, where I'm used to Jim Lee and Greg Capullo and Oliver Coipel. And here there's a flashback of how his dad dies. And I just like the colors of it, just kind of make do a really good job of setting the difference between present day and past, and especially because they remove the outer line of the panel. Just see, if you look here, this is present day. He's remembering, and there's the panel around the lines around the panel where the past doesn't have it. So just how the colors can really add to the storytelling and the artwork. So that is something to consider as you're creating your own comic. So this goes into a little bit more of Bruce Wayne's past as Alfred finds out more and more about who Bruce Wayne is, because he knows who Bruce Wayne is. He knows who Batman is now. He's trying to put it all together. And the big reveal, I guess, was that Martha Wayne is still alive in this version. So people were kind of, some people liked it, some people didn't. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge Batman fan, so it could go either way. I'm not a purist or an absolutist on that. But just really good storytelling here. Like, I was like, what in the world? I thought Alfred was going to be a bigger part, and then it looks like he's taking him down. And then, but the good storytelling, you know, this was an unnecessary panel, in my opinion. Like, this would have been enough. Like, this to this to this to this. I didn't know what this was. I'm like, something drilling out of a wall, but that's supposed to be glass. But it is what it is. And then the final page, Baboomski, big cool, jumping off with his awesome bat cycle that he stole from Alfred. So, I forgot, epilogue, they introduced the Joker. So all good stuff. Storytelling is fantastic. and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels to end the page after a big splash. So all in all, you know, an A for effort, A for execution. And at $4.99, I don't know how many pages it was, but it felt pretty thick. And I'll tell you, one of the main things that took me by surprise when I pulled out these old comics to compare with the Jim Lee, and it's not just the artwork, where the artwork for a superhero comic used to be so much more different. Like a mainstream comic book used to be Jim Lee-ish. Like when Jim Lee came on the scene, he changed the house style from like a John Byrne, George Perez style to more of everybody started copying his style, and he was a mix of George Perez, John Byrne, and everybody else, you know, Gil Kane and all the greats. But then he added some stuff, and even added stuff from his contemporaries like Rob Liefeld and Will Spertatio and all those guys. But just all the rendering is what was different. But what I didn't realize was so different was all the advertisements. So there's all these advertisements in here, right? So if you look, advertisement for video game, Starburst. So you got candy, you got another video game, you got a movie, you got, I don't know what, I don't even know what that is. I imagine that's a video game. But all throughout the book, card game, video game, all throughout the book. And that makes the book cheaper. Now this is $2.25, I believe. Yeah, $2.25 way back when. It is a thicker book, so I'm assuming it's more than 22 pages. Actually, maybe it's just 22 pages of story. But a ton of advertisements in here. And I looked at this new current, the current DC, and they're all, if you'll indulge me here, as we look at the advertisements that are in here, they are all house ads. You don't even get any ads, which is good, which is fine, but that increases the cost of these comic books. So if I would rather look at some ads, because they're kind of cool ads, you know, like video games. All right, you know, I'm not a video game guy, but the graphics are awesome, so they're good to look at. Boy, no advertisements through most of it. I mean, I can see no advertisements in a trade paperback, but there is almost no advertisements throughout this whole thing. And then you get to the very back, and there's another house ad, DC Nation house ad, and I don't know how much involvement they had with Superman, but like, can you make it a little cheaper? Can you go out and sell some advertising and make? I mean, this wasn't a bad price for as thick as the book was, $4.99, but you could have made it $3.99. It made it more accessible, you know, $2.50, and sold a bazillion more. So, hey, what's going on, Mike? Great observation about the ads. I hadn't even noticed. Yeah, so that was back in 2002. Ton of ads, right? Ton of ads, and all kinds of ads. Extreme sport, deodorant. We're guys. We need deodorant, and these guys were cool back then. This was, I don't know. I wasn't into hip hop. These guys look familiar to me. It's not Ice-T, but you know who it is. They're cool guys. And then also, so back in 2011 was when the New 52 came out. And right here again, we have ABC. We have a TV show. Let's see. We have, this doesn't look like so it's Midtown Comics, not a house ad. I read my comics, guys, so if you get all nervous because I flip through these things. So Lego, toys. New York City Comic Con is buying ads in here. The back, Hot Wheels. Got Milk, little whatever. And the house ads didn't start until the very end of the comic book. So I don't know if you've ever tried to start a business, but the recommendation I always hear is never spend your own money. Try to use other people's money, because you're doing the hard work, you're making the sacrifice. If you can get other people on board to help and give them something that's worth investing in, then it makes the job much easier. But here in 2021 is when I Am Batman came out, and I love the artwork I love Oliver Quapel, but the story was just like, that's not Batman. He's not. I don't know. He's a wussy. I hate to say it, but he was just not instilling fear. But if you look at the ads again, this is a HBO Max. It's DC. It's a DC thing. I don't know what Warner Brothers and HBO had going on or have going on, but you know that they're together. And then this, also a house ad. So house ads are fine. House ads are, promoting your own books, but it's still just making money on your own books. More house ads. Another house ad. House ad. They don't have anything but DC ads in here. So CW, but that's also DC. So you can't make money if you're not taking in advertisement. So I hope you guys found that interesting. Just want to give you an update. If you've ever heard of my Alpha Red channel, my Alpha Red comic, I do have a campaign going on. So if you're looking for an alternative to Marvel and DC, and I wish that X-Men were good, and I'm looking forward to Batman. I'm not a DC guy, but I'm picking up Batman because of Scott Snyder and the buzz that I hear around this. But let me, if you would, yeah, I lost it. Where is it at? Yeah, so here's my campaign. If you go to alpharedcomic.com, I would appreciate you guys just checking out what I'm doing with trying to create my own comics and taking all these lessons that I'm learning from what Marvel and DC are doing right and what they're doing wrong. With Absolute Batman, I think they're doing right. So far so good. Nick Dragotta, probably not going to be my favorite artist, but he can definitely win me over if the story's good, and if the story's good, his artwork is definitely good enough to support the story. So that might win me over to liking him more and following him from thing to thing. So alpharedcomic.com will take you to the Kickstarter. I'm actually running it on all three platforms. IndieGoGo, you can go to jamesq.net to get to the IndieGoGo version, and the Fund My Comic version is shopalpharedcomic.com. And they each have their own individual homage cover. Their own exclusive homage cover, which I don't have with me. But I'll show you some pages if you don't mind sticking around. So this is my character Alpha Red, if you're not familiar with him. I just picked up an inker because I wanted to stay on time. Putting together the crowdfunders, all three crowdfunders, took probably 3 weeks longer than I thought, and I thought it'd be done by now with the comic. But because I wasn't, I picked up an inker to help me. So this was the tryout. I sent him this. He sent me back this. And so he was hired for sure. And so I sent him this, and he sent me this. So still very happy. And I was so happy that after I got the second one back of my pencils, and then he sent me the inks, I actually went back and sent him my inks. I sent him my ink pages and asked him to re-ink my inks. So this is what he did from my inks. So I actually like it even better than what he did from my pencils. So I wish that I had the time to ink it and then let him ink it, but that would be redundant. So that is that. And this one, I was so happy with that tryout picture that I asked him to swap out the Alpha Red because the tryout picture had a more dynamic pose. So because he does everything digitally, he was able to swap out this alpha red for this alpha red and add more rain, and he was able to move this down and make it bigger, and just all kinds of stuff that I'm super happy with. So if you guys missed the draw stream, I do a draw stream every Sunday. This was the result of the draw stream this past Sunday, where I did Shaft from Youngblood. I just colored him. And then I won a contest. I want to enter this into another contest, but it's a whole Youngblood contest. So I'm doing the Youngblood characters separately. I was a fan of Rob Liefeld. I'm still a fan of Rob Liefeld. So he's back on Youngblood. That was a big announcement last week or 2 weeks ago. And so I'm going to draw a bunch of his Youngblood characters, and then I'm going to jam them together and see if I can win another art contest on his Facebook page. So if you guys are not fans of his on the Facebook page, he is, I think it's Rob Liefeld Marvel Extreme and Beyond or something like that. So lots of cool Rob Liefeld stuff goes on there. If you're a fan of him or his art, that's the place to be. Everybody loves him, and he kicks anybody out if they don't love him. So just is what it is. This is a character that I'm designing. That's what's on the artboard. That's what I wanted to show you. I'm also doing a commission for a church that's putting together a book, and this is kids wrongfully praying to angels, and the angels like no. And then I think that's it. That's it, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. That's just something that I want to maybe dive into is going through books and dissecting them and showing you what makes a good one and what makes a bad one. And despite how beautiful this art is, the story would not keep me on this. Even though the artwork, I would rather them sell me a black and white version of Oliver Coipel's artwork every month. I would gladly pay whatever this is, $5 a month, and I can get some black and white versions of just his artwork. That would be better than me having to sit there and read through terrible dialogue. The story is just weak. It's just not Batman. And I don't want to end the stream without flipping through a little bit of Greg Capullo on Batman. And this was his first work for DC, I believe, coming from Spawn. And it was just like magic. I just could not get enough. It was about the same as Jim Lee doing Batman. And the story was just so smart and interesting that I'm glad that they stayed together for a couple of years. They lost me with the metal stuff. Is it DC metal? It just got too dark for me. Couldn't do it. But I'm glad for the Court of Owls stuff, and this was the first foray into it. And like I said, even here, the ads are not in-house ads. So, but yeah, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that smash that like button. Is that what they say? Smash the like button, hit that subscribe, and check out my Kickstarter or my IndieGoGo or my Fund My Comic. That would really help me out. I could play this as on my way out. Let's just play one of these on the way out. And ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And just a quick advertisement for this. I hope you can hear this. Let me see if you can hear it.
And reflect on the path life is leading him down. But the time for reflection is short-lived, when Alpha Red is called into action by a Supermax prison breakout. The supervillain, Dr. Disastro, has re-emerged and is enacting a plan to destroy the world by harnessing catastrophic weather events. Our champion is forced to jump right back into the fight, but will he perish in the face of this villain's master plan to turn the weather itself into a weapon? And what sinister hand is lurking behind this scheme? Find out in Alpha Red Comics #6, A Recipe for Disastro. This issue guest stars Alpha Red's new gunslinging guardian angel, Wingman. The new dynamic duo will have to brave the storm as they discover what makes A Recipe for Disastro.
That is pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate, let me hit this button. No, I just appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a random Thursday as I break down Absolute Batman and the artwork. I'm an artist, so that's the angle that I look at things, and there's a lot that goes, whoa, that's not it. That's not it either. Here it is. A lot goes into creating a good comic, and it's a mixture of writing and but the artwork matters too, and I'm thankful that I have the artwork part. I can control the artwork part, and I'm always working on trying to make my artwork better with storytelling and different, working with good quality people. So I hope that you can give me a chance over at alpharedcomic.com, jamesq.net, or shopalphared.com. If I can remember this would be fantastic. But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see, join me again on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I do some drawing, and I talk about creating comics. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Until next time, grace and peace. I'm gonna hit the outro. Bam.
With courage in his heart, a beacon of hope, he's ready to start. With faith as his armor and a fire in his soul, Alpha Red stands tall, fulfilling his role. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red, Red. In a world full of chaos, where evil may lurk, he fights for the righteous, his mission and work. Guided by God, with strength from above, he battles the darkness with unyielding love. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red, Alpha Red. When the night seems too long and hope seems so far, look to the skies, you'll see his bright star. With a prayer and a promise, he faces the fight. Alpha Red shines through, the beacon of light. Alpha Red, the hero we need. With the power of faith, he'll always succeed. Fighting darkness, he'll never dread. For the world is safe with Alpha Red. So stand tall with courage, let your faith lead the way. With Alpha Red beside us, we'll see a brighter day. For evil may tremble, but never forget, the world is protected by our hero, Alpha Red. Alpha Red. Alpha Red.